Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to remind council and municipal staff that this meeting is being live streamed to the public. All council meetings are also recorded. Recordings will be available to the public on the township's YouTube account. This meeting is held electronically under Bylaw 2020-70 to amend Procedural Bylaw 2018-117 pursuant to Section 238 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. This morning, we will not be doing the national anthem as it's just a little bit beyond our technical limitations. Maybe we'll get there someday. And instead, I'd like to move on to our First Nations land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I'd like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. I will move now to the adoption of the agenda for Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. Sue, are there any additions or amendments to the agenda?
There's no additions. There is an amendment to one of the bylaws. There was an error on one of the bylaws that it should be 12 o'clock, but I can speak to that when we get to the bylaw.
Absolutely. Okay, so the agenda is remaining the same. So the recommendation is that the regular council meeting agenda for Tuesday, October 18th, 2022 be approved as presented. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Schulis, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. All those in favor? And that's carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest this morning?
None here.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I don't have a mayor's address for you this morning. I had a couple of personal things happen on the weekend and just did not get to that, but we are ending our term, and I am hoping and wishing everyone the best of luck in the election. And I know that this council will move forward in great hands. We have a wonderful staff, and it will be a good term next term for the new council. Anyways, no delegations this morning. We'll move to confirmation of the minutes. Council and committee meeting minutes of October 4th, 2022. The recommendation is that the council and committee meeting minutes, including all recommendations for October 4th, 2022, be approved as presented. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Now, are there any of these recommendations that council wishes to discuss? Okay, seeing none. Are there any errors or omissions in these minutes? Okay, I guess seeing none there, then I'll call the vote. All those in favor? And that's carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Okay, I see none. We'll move to municipal reports. Zoning bylaw amendment, McCaffrey, 319A Otter Lake Lane. And I got to find the report. Give me 1 second. I think that's it. No, that's not it. 10.1. Oh, maybe it is 10.1. Okay, yes, I did find it. Sorry, it just didn't look like it. Now, is someone going to speak to this, or are we just accepting this as information? I know it's the studies from the McCaffrey file that we looked at earlier today.
Manager of planning and development will speak to that.
Okay, I'll turn it over to Luke then.
Thank you. So earlier at 9 o'clock today, we had the public meeting with only the applicants in attendance. We discussed the purpose and effect of this application. And as Mayor Love notes, the supporting environmental study is attached to the council package. I think the long and the short of it is that staff are recommending the passing of a amending bylaw to permit this sleep cabin. And there are some stipulations just with the overall size, which was recommended by the applicants, and they're in concurrence with that. And they don't. I included in the bylaw that the sleep cabin will not have a washroom facility, and that was also proposed by the applicants, and they're in concurrence with that as well. So the studies are there for council's review as well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion by council? This is for your information. Okay, I don't see any, so we are accepting that as information. And then I will move to CAO updates and turn it over to Sue.
Yes, I have a report with a recommendation for council. The report is self-explanatory with the background information that following the retirement of the Township of Manager of Planning, Licensing and Development in the April of 2022, several attempts to recruit and replace this position were made, but ultimately were unsuccessful. During this time, I brought the planning services agreement from the County of Renfrew for council consideration to approve signing of the agreement, which outlined the core services the municipality would be receiving. This agreement was signed in June of 2022. Whereas we have a township planner now, it is my recommendation that the planning services agreement bylaw 2022-60 in its present form outlines the core services provided by the County of Renfrew planner to the municipality. And whereas the planning services agreement was not drafted to reflect that we'd have a planner on staff, and whereas a planner on staff can perform and oversee some of the core services for Madawaska Valley, that I'm asking that council approve the CEO clerk recommendation to repeal the agreement bylaw 2022-60 being a bylaw to enter into a planning services agreement with the County of Renfrew, and that this resolution would serve notice in accordance to section 20 of the planning services agreement. So I just wanted, I'm not sure if you have questions about the content of my report, but I wanted to be clear that repealing the bylaw allows for the 6-month notice, which we had explained at the beginning when we entered into the agreement, that would allow for the municipal overlap at municipal and county staff overlap and allow the opportunity for both to transition and discuss the future requirements as it would reflect us having a township planner on staff. I'm not sure if you have any questions or comments.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Does council have any questions for Sue on this recommendation?
Mayor Lavitz, yes, Councilor Kaminsky, just a comment. No questions, just a comment about the appreciative of the county being able to step in and help us over that transition period, and things seem to be working out very well. So much thanks to them as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely. Certainly the services of the County of Renfrew, there's no issue with the services. We just now have the ability to provide some of those services in-house, and we don't want to have it means there's a sort of an overlap that's occurring now that we do have a planner on staff. So we'll work this out so that our new agreement that we sign with the County of Renfrew will ensure that they're doing what they need to do and we're doing what we need to do. So, but we do thank them for the assistance over a very difficult period. Certainly when you're a very growing and active developing municipality, it's very difficult to be without planning services of your own at that point in time. And so we do appreciate that we now have a planner, yay, and that the county did help us over that difficult period. Sue,
I just wanted to add, Mayor Love, just when I'm hearing the comments, and yes, we appreciate the hand up, but it wasn't a temporary hand up. We are still working with the County of Renfrew. We'll continue to do so. It was just too difficult to try to amend the agreement in its present form. And then seeing as we have a long termination period, notice period, it allows us then to see how we both continue to provide the service we do, and how we continue to complement each other with the services that we provide all of the residents.
Yes, and the County of Renfrew has gone to these service agreements with its lower tier municipalities so that everyone understands what services are being provided and what that process is. So we will develop a new agreement with them. We will have an agreement with them. All of the lower tier municipalities that use their services do. And certainly the county is responsible for things like plan of subdivision. So we will have an agreement. Absolutely. We'll just have to work out the details of what's going to work best for the county and for the municipality. All right. If there's no other questions on that, Sue, you pretty much read the recommendation. Is council comfortable with the recommendation, or do you want Sue to read it again? Are we okay?
That's fine.
I think we're fine. Okay, so what I need is a mover and a seconder for that recommendation. Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. And is there any discussion on the recommendation? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. All right, we don't have standing committees today. We do have bylaws. So our first bylaw is bylaw 2022-87. It's a bylaw to amend bylaw 2006-26. The recommendation is that bylaw 2022-87 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2006-26 of the Township of Madawaska Valley as amended, be given first and second reading this 18th day of October 2022. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. I think you had your hand up. Okay. Is there any discussion on the bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2022-87 be given third and final reading this 18th day of October 2022. Moved by Councillor Schulis, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Any final discussion on the bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Next is bylaw 2022-88 regarding a bylaw to amend policy F-02 conventions and seminars to the corporate. Excuse me, I apologize. Regarding a bylaw to amend policy F-02 conventions and seminars to the corporate policies and procedures bylaw 2014-90. The recommendation is that bylaw 2022-88 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2014-90 with respect to the amendment of policy number F-02 conventions and seminars to the corporate policies and procedures for the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley be given first and second reading this 18th day of October 2022. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Schulis, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2022-88 be given third and final reading this 18th day of October 2022. Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The next bylaw is the one that Sue referred to that needed to be amended. Did you want to speak to it, Sue? It's bylaw 2022-89 regarding closing vehicular traffic for annual Santa Claus parade. I'll turn it over to Sue.
Yes, Mayor Love, it was a typo, just wanted to change that it begins at noon. Therefore, the bylaw will say from noon till 3.
Okay, thank you. I almost caught myself on mute. All right, yes, I kind of wondered about that. It would have been unusual for them to change the time of the parade after so many traditional years of it being at noon. All right, so with that, the recommendation is that bylaw 2022-89, being a bylaw to close to vehicular traffic on a temporary basis, highways, streets, or portions thereof under the jurisdiction of council for such social, recreational, community, or athletic purpose, or combination of such purposes, be given first and second reading this 18th day of October 2022 as amended. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Schulis. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2022-89 be given third and final reading this 18th day of December 2022 as amended. Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. All right, we have a correspondence action item, although we just did the action. The first one is a letter from Tom Smith, Santa Claus Parade Committee, MV Lions Club, October 12th, 2022. And there is an invitation to council and the municipality to participate in the parade with this letter, which did ask for the road closure. Any discussion or comments from council? No? Okay, thank you. Well, We appreciate that they continue to do this. It's a wonderful event for our community, and I know the kids look forward to it. I hope the next council enjoys doing the parades as much as I have. All right, with that, we'll move then to OPP annual billing statement for September 29th, 2022. This is the billing statement for 2023, I believe, and it is offering us a bit of good news because the total for policing for 2023 has gone down slightly from 2022. And in actual fact, council, at one point, we were paying $942,877 for policing. That was the actual in 2017. So our bill has slowly started to come down, and it went up quite sharply with the implementation of the new funding formula for the OPP. So we are finally seeing some relief as that burden is spread across all the municipalities who have OPP services, and some are growing more rapidly than us. And as a result, their property counts are going up even quicker than ours, although ours has gone up as well. Any discussion from council on this? Any comments? Council, staff? Okay, Sue? Yes.
I just wanted to note the treasurer added it to the package for council information, but seeing as we are transitioning to a new council in November, then we would be bringing this as part of our orientation session so that we can go through the billing as well as how it will impact our budget. So we just wanted this council to be aware, and it will be brought forward then for council orientation and budgeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, this is one of our larger bills we get to pay, so it's very important council understands that. Councillor Poplinski, I believe you have your hand up.
I do indeed, yes. Thanks, Mayor Love. Yeah, with respect to the comments about the budget and so on, I think one of the additional matters that we have to take into consideration is we received a notice just very recently from the Solicitor General's office regarding the new police boards. And this is going to happen, but it's going to happen late in next year. So we need to make sure that we have any necessary, because there is going to be an additional expense for sure, because the appointment, well, it's not a suggestion, it's in there, it's already in their documents, but they will be appointing people, will be an expense associated with that and be attributed back to our township. So just making sure that it's good news to see we had a little bit of a dip. But moving forward with the budget, I think we have to be cognizant of this other situation, which could become, something that's if it's addressed early, then it's manageable. So that's the only reason I raised the issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sue, is that document coming to council November 1st?
Yes, it is. I had discussed with the chair fire protection as well as with the fire chief that we would be adding it to the council and committee on November 1st. And it does, as Councillor Poplinski alluded to, state that it would be towards the end of 2023, and that certainly would have to be included in budget discussions.
Okay, thank you. And that will be going to the new council as well, I am assuming.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Poplinski. Is there anything further on the OPP annual billing statement? Okay, I don't see anything. Any new business, Sue?
Nope.
Okay, any unfinished business? Okay, again, no. All right. Then I guess we will move in camera. Now we have 2 in-camera sessions. I'm just going to note to the public. We have one that will start. We'll move in camera, but we will actually start at about 11. And then our second session is going to start at 1. So with that, the recommendation is that the meeting enter in camera session to discuss matters pertaining to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Ontario Municipal Act 2001, Chapter 25, Section 239, 2B, E, and F. Number 1, the 11 a.m. will be human resources updates. And number 2, the 1 p.m. will be court file number CV-21-000002-0000 update. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. All
Mayor
those in
Love?
favor? Oh, sorry, Sue.
Sorry, before you go into camera, I just wanted to add that I have signed off my delegation of authority for clerk for the portion of a meeting in closed at 11 o'clock.
Yes. Okay, thank you. All right. I got a mover and a seconder. All those in favor?